For assessment of the wrist, then what we're doing is it's flexion and extension, adduction or ulnar deviation, and abduction or radial deviation, and we do that in active, passive and resisted. So again, we use both arms so that we can compare good with bad. So if we ask them to flex, and it's the wrist we're looking at, so try and get them to keep their hands straight, that's it. Okay, and now extension, good, and then we get them to take it in, which is the ulnar or radial deviation or adduction, and then outwards, and that is your abduction or radial deviation. So that's the active. Passive, we do, again it would be good and then bad, but I'll just show you on one hand. So we want flexion, and again you're feeling where that end feel is, what's happening, is there sponginess or is it bony? And then we do the same with the extension, what does that feel like? Then we do ulnar deviation, again is there any spring there or is it bony? And radial or abduction. We then get them to do that against resistance, so we're taking the midpoint, which is pretty well in a neutral position. You can either hold them like this or you can hold them like this. What you want, you don't want them to be using their fingers, it's the wrist that we're assessing, so you get them to flex upwards, and then you get them to extend backwards, and then inwards, and then outwards. Now we can do that for each of the joints. That's the wrist joint we've just done, but for the hand we can also assess the fingers. So if we just take one finger as an example, what we can do is we take the index finger and get them to flex that finger, and then we can get them to extend the finger, we can get them to take it inwards, adduction, we can get them to take it outwards, abduction. And then we can do that for them. So we flex it, we extend it, we adduct it, and we abduct it, and then we get them to do it resisted. Now at the moment I'm doing the metaphalangeal joint, so this is where I need to be holding it. This is the joint that I want them to work. I don't want them to be working these joints here. So if we just resist that joint and get them to pull it up, and we resist the joint and get them to push it down, and I wouldn't do resisted on adduction or abduction, just flexion and extension. If we want to do the interphalangeal joint, then go up one, hold this steady, and get them to bend there, and get them to bend there. And again, you can do the same with this top joint, so just get them to push against you, and push against you. Depending on what they've come in with, you don't need to be going through every finger. If they're talking about this finger being sore, you don't need to be checking this finger, but you can do it for each finger.